Hello, I'm Sheila with The Grateful Goddess, and it is my honor to be here today with you with Dr. Deborah Kern. She is a health scientist, author, international speaker, coach, mentor. She's a black belt NIA instructor. She does these retreats where she helps women find their divine feminine. The woman has it going on. And so I wanted to introduce you to her because she is such an epitome of a goddess in living in her true joy. So recently she came out of the closet with a new talent, and that I knew intuitively she had, but had never heard her announce it before, that you are now actually doing intuitive work for people. So tell us about that.
Well, you know, it's so interesting because I think everyone, I know, everyone
Yes.
has, we all have intuitive abilities, and more and more people are waking up to them, actually.
Yes.
And oftentimes we wake up to our intuition through crisis. So I had a near-death pneumonia, which you may not even know about.
No.
It's been 4 years ago, exactly 4 springs ago, where I was traveling. I started with bronchitis, and then I had a full day speaking gig in Cincinnati, and the night after that speaking gig was to fly to Huntsville and to do 2 days in a row. And so I left home with bronchitis. I flew into Cincinnati, and they had a freak snowstorm, and I had no winter clothes. I literally took my yoga pants out of my suitcase and wrapped it around my neck to just give me some warmth around my neck. And I ended up with full-blown pneumonia by the end of the trip, and just kind of barely made it. And I was in bed for a couple of weeks, kind of hovering between worlds. It was really eerie.
Yeah.
And in the process, I was reading some books, and I read several books in a row that said something to the effect of, in order to create heaven on earth, we have to clear our Akashic records.
Yes.
And I know that may sound woo-woo.
Mm-hmm.
And the Akashic records are simply, if you have read in the Bible the Book of Life, like the review of your Book of Life. So the Akasha is the unmanifest, unseen of a person's life journey.
Mm-hmm.
And so your entire soul's journey needs to be cleared up. And as I was laying there hovering between worlds, I kept reading different books saying the same thing. And I'm like, well, I want to do that. I want to clear up my Akashic records. And a week after I was back on my feet, someone sent me an email saying, did you know that there is a woman that lives near you in the country who teaches people how to access their Akashic records? Now, I have never even used the word Akashic records to anybody before. And I'm like, whoa, we're talking about an answer to prayer.
Right.
So I go into the country, and this woman, she's a potter, she's a gardener, she's an herbalist, and she's been given this prayer that's been passed down from an elderly woman in Mexico, actually,
Mm-hmm.
who was given the prayer by divine inspiration, that you say to open your Akashic records and get information about your own self. And so I found it fascinating, and it woke up a whole new way of me seeing. And then she said to me, would you like to learn how to open other people's records? And I was like, yeah, no. I don't think so. I don't think I want to know.
Yeah.
Right? But then she said, you can help people that way. And I thought, well, that would be really helpful. So I went and did another intensive weekend with 2 other women and this woman in the country, outside of Austin. And I didn't think much of it. I mean, I didn't think I was really getting it. I thought, am I making this up?
Right.
Am I making this up?
Which we often do with intuition.
Yeah, I think I'm making this up. So on the evening of the 3rd day, she said, I'm going to open up the records of the land and ask you questions on behalf of the land. And I thought, okay, I'm going to be so busted because I feel like I've been making stuff up. Maybe somehow I heard something, and that's how I knew this about this person. So she opened the records of the land, and instantly I saw in my mind's eye, I saw a picture of a map, and on one corner of the map was drawn it was like a scar. And so I told her, and I drew it out, and she said, she pulled out the plat of the land she owned, 60 something acres, and it was exactly the shape of that I had drawn. And the next morning we put our boots on and we walked out to the corner where I had drawn the scar. And in fact, we found a place that in the early part of the century they had mined for limestone. It was like cut out of the ground, and people from the highway passing by were throwing trash into it. And so the earth was asking to be cleaned up. So from that moment on, I just started, I've access somehow to images that come to my mind, and the images carry meaning for people. So that's how it happened. I didn't tell anybody, but that summer I probably read 90 people's records just because I couldn't not do it. People were calling me, longtime friends with difficult issues that they couldn't figure out with psychotherapy or journaling or all of their normal things. And I said, well, we can open the records and see it. And in every case, it was helpful to them.
And so why didn't you
I just didn't. I didn't know it. Well, first of all, honestly, I'm an entrepreneur and my time is valuable.
Yes.
And so
that's true.
I didn't know what to do because I don't have that. I'm a mom and I have a lot of duties and things I want to do. So I didn't want to schedule my time to do things for free, even though it was helpful. But then I did like doing it when I could do it. So I didn't want to just put it out there and let people know. I just wanted to sort of ad hoc offer it. So I was afraid to charge.
Okay.
For something that I considered spiritual.
Right. That makes sense.
And there was a gift. And so that's why I didn't. And I was afraid, what if my mom sees it? Because I'm the oldest daughter of a German Lutheran family in Texas. So, I mean, what? Intuitive guidance, Akashic, what? And I didn't know how to language it, even talking to you. If I say Akashic records, I mean, it's a word. It's a word. Akasha, Akashic, it's a word. What does it mean exactly? It's a concept. But what I can say is that whatever I do, when I say that prayer and I ask to be used as a vessel for divine wisdom to come through me, I know things. I see things that I couldn't possibly have seen before, and I'm able to give information to people that's helpful to them. And so I just do that.
And I think that is valuable for anyone to just say that kind of a prayer. It doesn't need to come through as a Akashic record. It's just like, use me as a vessel to serve the world. What can I do to serve the world?
You know, I've done it for as long as I can remember.
Yeah.
I mean, even when I was little. I used to, I took it seriously when I was in Sunday school, and they would tell us that we are the hands and the eyes and the feet of Christ. That's what we learned. And I took it seriously. Like, I would look at my hands and go, wow, these are the hands of Christ. Like, for Christ energy to move through these hands and do something, or to move through my mouth to say something. So when I was little, I took that really seriously. And my spirituality is way bigger than any one religion. And at heart, I still have that as what moves through me. And it's how I run my business when I talk to someone on the phone. And interestingly, having opened myself, I do now do sessions, as you know. I will take clients, not many, because I have a lot of things that I do, but there's a certain number per week that I really love delving into the Akashic records with someone.
Yes.
And having that kind of time. However, I don't really turn it off. So when I'm working with anyone, even in my business, I'm accessing that part of my intuition that's giving me more vision. And I say, everyone can do that. Just ask.
Right.
You know, you just ask.
As a multi-passionate entrepreneur, how do you decide what path to follow?
Let's see. You know, I'm practical. So I'm practical. So I kind of do two things at the same time. I look at what will serve my family in terms of how my time is being used, and in terms of income, what kind of finances that I can bring to support the family. So I take that into account, and I take into account what makes me happy. What am I passionate about?
Yes.
And I probably like many entrepreneurs, I have to have variety.
Yeah.
I have to have variety, and so I have to be careful. There's a fine line between the next shiny object that takes me off track, but also if I'm bored, it's not going to work. So I have to keep myself checking and saying, am I loving this? Am I excited about it? Am I finding a reason for it?
Right.
So that how I choose is based on my passion and what gets me like excited.
Yes.
And how much time is it taking away from my family, and how much money is it bringing in? So I'm constantly weaving that together to see how well I'm spending my time.
Right.
And sometimes I err on one side more than the other.
Right.
And bring it back to balance.
Well, since you know there's such a connection between your health and your wealth, would you say that the illness, the bronchitis, was a reflection of something you needed to...
Yes, always. Well, I was pushing. That was a time when I was really pushing out of fear for finances. Anytime I start pushing myself out of a fear for finances, I have some certain Achilles heels. My lungs are one.
Mm-hmm.
My lungs are one, and my adrenals are another.
Mm-hmm.
So, so my body will flare up.
Well, you have an extremely successful business. So, how did you shift from the fear to financial abundance?
I can't think of one seminal moment. Really, it comes through my dance practice. Through my dance and my yoga practice, I can feel the fear in my body. And so when I have a regular practice of dance and a regular practice of yoga, I can feel the fear and breathe it out of my body. That's really the way I do it. It doesn't, I know some people journal, and I mean, there's a million ways that other entrepreneurs do that works. But for me, I have to dance.
Yeah.
Pretty much dance. And there's a moment in every dance class where I go, oh, right.
Yes.
Right? I mean, oh, right. That's who I am. I'm like unlimited star energy. I'm vibrating, like I'm just bringing it in, and it's just coming through me. And as soon as I remember that, my day goes great. So
dance is your version of meditation to connect with the divine, to hear what it is and listen to your own body and what your body needs.
for sure, dance is the fastest way. I have a mantra practice as well, and a seated meditation practice, but those interestingly are part of my practice, but I don't feel as connected as I do with dance after that. So dance is my way.
I love
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Dance is my way.
Dance is my way.
Thank you,
You're
dear.
welcome.
Oh, perfect. So the reason we're in bed, is because she is a very, very busy woman, and I don't get to see her very often. And we happen to be celebrating her big success in another city, and so we got together. And so this is where we could fit it in. And
Right.
That's it. That's the way we work. As long as there's joy.